Well, good morning, everyone. From all of us at Bucks Island, it's Thanksgiving weekend. We hope you had a great turkey day with your family. We know you're probably itching it to get out there and get fishing a little bit right now. So we're going to talk to Tom, Lee, Tracy, and Gentry and find out what's happening on that body of water that you love. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. We're going to talk to Tom Ott and see what his wishes are for Lake Guntersville right now and a little bit of reality. Tom, what's going on the big lake?
Well, we got some turkey sandwiches. We'll carry out on the river later, but I'm telling you, Dano, things have really changed a good bit here in the last week and a half on Guntersville, and what we're seeing right now, and it's something you probably have never heard me say, and probably won't say again, but from what I'm understanding, what I'm seeing out there, if you're not scoping, you're hoping, right? Just to
Oh,
just to steal a little phrase from one of our guys, but I'm telling you, these guys right now are catching some big bags of fish. I mean, really close to 30 pounds. I've seen some of the biggest spotted bass I've seen on Guntersville. I mean, I think I sent you a picture the other day of a 5 plus that was just a football. I mean, that thing was ugly. It was so big. But these
you
guys
and
are just out
Mason?
there doing that scope thing, following these balls of shad around and catching some really big fish. Now, if you're more like me and not really that great at scoping, there's still plenty of fish to be caught, but you're just going to be hoping that you were catching bigger ones instead of the ones you're going to catch. I think you could still get out there with that A rig. You can still catch some big fish like that. I think some of the scopers are still throwing an A rig on some of those suspended bass, but the little minnow baits and things like that are really doing the damage right now. And I mean, these kids are 16-year-old kids coming in with 25, 26, 27 pounds. It's pretty amazing. And that also is a good testament to how well Guntersville produces, big fish right now. So, but just keep in mind that you don't have to do that to catch fish. There's plenty of crappie moving out there. This cold snap that we've got and the one that's coming up is really going to get the crappie hitting. So, it's time to go get you a bucket of minnows, get you some jigs, some Bobby Garlands. Go out there and just catch whatever you can. But I think you're going to have a good time if you stay in that less than 12-foot zone. You're going to catch plenty of fish. If you really want to catch some big fish, get out there on those bluffs or kind of follow the creek channels and look for those roamers. That is it's just amazing what guys are pulling out right now. So I think as the cold weather comes in, it's going to slow those fellas down a little bit. Not because the fish won't be there, but because they don't want to be there.
Well, I know me, tend to the holiday season, I kind of find a reason not to go fishing sometimes. I kind of figure out maybe I don't want to be out there. It's nice and warm in here by this tree.
Sure.
Tom, as always, brother, we appreciate everything, all the insights. Get out there and catch a few and send us some pictures, brother. It is Thanksgiving, and we are grateful to have Lee Pitts joining us. Lee, what are you giving thanks for on this Neely Henry and Weiss Lake fishing?
I am giving thanks for that we've got those two great body of waters to get in and catch those fish.
Good answer. So, what's going on at Weiss Lake? Tell me about it.
Weiss is picking up a little bit. The bass fishing has been pretty good this week. We've had a lot of guys out on the water. The little crankbait bite is still pretty good, and some of these guys they're slowing down with a jerk bait and some soft plastics. A lot of stuff is on the river. They're moving into the pockets right there and just kind of off that main river, catching some fish on crankbait. Around some of the harder bottoms with the rockier points and things like that. Shaky head, small jig has been good, but bass fishing has been pretty good. Catching a lot of fish right now. Really, it's you can even throw a small trap. Get out there on some of those long points and catch some little spots. So it's enough to keep you busy right now.
What about the crappie bite?
Crappie are still they're holding in just the same type deal. They're around that cover. They're staying around that brush. The bite is still a little finicky. The water temperature's cooling down like we need it to, and we're starting to see more fish get on that wood cover. They're just a little timid right now. I think it's one of the things as it sets in. The real cold, is hitting us here this coming up this weekend. So These crappie are getting where they need to be, and they're more and more coming, so they're feeding up pretty good.
What are you hearing out of Neely Henry? I know the current's probably kind of slacked off a little bit, but what are you hearing?
It has, and with that, of course, the bite has got a little slower there, but the same type of deal. Looking for the cuts off the river. Wood cover has been pretty good. Still slowing down. Like I said, the crankbait, jerkbait, small jigs have been pretty good, and just throwing some plastics out on these little mouse of the coming off the river, the mouse and the longer points.
Are you talking like shaky heads and finesse type stuff, or are you talking flipping some of that wood?
No, the shaky head bite has been a little bit better. You know, if you're fishing a tournament and just going for 5 bites, of course, you know, you're going to get a little better quality with that jig. But as far as going out and catching fish, the little shaky head with a trick worm, something like that, has been working pretty good.
That sounds good, Mr. Lee. We appreciate everything. You and Laura have a really wonderful Thanksgiving, I hope, and we will talk to you again next week. It is Thanksgiving week. We are joined by someone we give great thanks for, Mr. Tracy Robinson. He's one of the best fishermen around here, and he's going to spend some time telling us about Logan Martin and Lay Lake. Tracy, what's going on at Logan Martin?
Well, Logan Martin, Lay Lake, that Coosa River chain getting a lot of buzz this week with some potential changes. We won't even get into that. That's for another day, but a lot of Coosa River buzz going around right now. Logan Martin, the fishing is pretty good, though. Still a lot of numbers to be caught there. A lot of fish being caught on top. You know, the water's being dropped down for the winter levels, but there's still a lot of fish being caught. You know, pop-Rs, spooks. Even though the seawalls are getting really shallow right up against them, it's still the chert rock banks kind of first kind of point just inside the ditches, creeks, mouths. That's kind of where the shad are piled up at right now. They're not really all the way in the back. They're not out on the river, but just kind of in those first little points, if you will, right inside the creeks and ditches. You can catch them on crankbaits a little bit, jerk baits too during the day, but the top water seems to be fun for me right now.
So are they shallow, or are they just taking opportunities to move up and move out?
They're moving up with the bait. In the mornings, you'll see the bait out there 15, 20 foot, and then for a few minutes, but they'll kind of push them up there on those shallow bars, gravel bars, points, and just go to whacking on them. And you can really do some damage quick with some of the top water. You can throw the swim baits and catch them too, but for me, it's just funner with the top water right now, chasing them.
Have you seen crappie boats out there on Logan Martin while you're out there?
I see a lot of crappie boats. I've seen a lot of catfish boats. The crappie guys, I couldn't really tell the size, but I've seen them reeling in quite a few, and they're kind of in that same area of the lake, just off the river, but not in the backs. Is where I'm seeing them at.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Lay Lake. What's happening there?
Lay Lake, we've had a lot of clouds, the past few days. Even had some rain, some wind, some different conditions. It kind of fired up some of the shallow bite there in the grass again. That grass bite was really good there for a few days. A couple of my buddies had some really big bags, swim jig, pitching, punching in the grass there. So that largemouth bite really fired up pretty good with some of the cloudy conditions that we've had. Still, a lot of people out there, you're seeing them chasing the scoping fish out there, and there's really no rhyme or reason. I'm seeing bait out on the main lake, 30, 40, 50 foot, seeing the bait up there on the 3-foot bars. So wherever the bait is, you can get out there and either scope for them out there deeper, or you can get up there shallower and throwing at the bait with your rattle traps, spooks, top water type stuff and catch them. But again, the key to both lakes is the bait situation right now.
Tracy, as always, brother, we appreciate it. We hope you and Lisa and the boys had a great Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you again soon, my friend. The food coma's over. Time to get back to fishing. We're going to talk a little bit with Gentry Gordy. Gentry, what are you thankful for about Logan? Gentry, what are you thankful for about Lake Martin and Jordan Lake right now?
Well, the temperature's finally cooling off, so it'll get that water temperature down and get these fish moving, get them in that winter pattern. So, those two lakes, I prefer to fish up there in the wintertime, so we're finally getting to that point.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got the fish moving around, you got the bait moving around. It's colder. What kind of approach are you going to take there at Lake Martin?
At Martin, I'm gonna probably have 2 jerk baits on the deck of the boat. Your regular jerk bait, and then like a +1 or +2, something that'll go a little deeper. Just kind of let the fish tell me.
Right.
But it's crazy with the temperature dropping like it is. it don't take long to get on that wintertime pattern, Dano, where, your jerk bait, your crankbait, and even your rattle traps at Martin will start to produce early in the morning, and then it'll slack off, especially, with the cool, we got these cool fronts coming in. When that sun gets up, you're gonna have to hold a Cinco or drag a jig a little slower. But your low light conditions to me is better for your jerk bait, your crankbait, stuff like that.
Now that's probably going to be better in the afternoon, right? I mean, the water's had a little bit of time to warm up. They maybe got a little bit more active, and then you start getting that low light in the evening. You might find that bite to be even stronger, correct?
Yeah, and I think more so at Jordan, Dano, because Martin, I don't know, that strain of spotted bass on Martin, man, it's just, they don't get affected as much by a cold front, and it just seems like the colder, the more active they get.
All right. So Jordan, a little bit more. Is the grass bite still active, or is it something that's starting to kind of wane?
If you're going to have fun to catch a bunch of fish, no. If you're going to fish a tournament and looking for a big bite, I never rule out the grass. It don't matter how cold it gets on Jordan. I've been swimming crawdads through there when the grass is dead, is freezing cold, and you can still get them to eat something, in that grass. Other than that, not so much. Well, I wish I'd have told you, Martin, you still got to keep a top water plug, honest.
Yep.
On Jordan, I would just have it ready in case they come up. Like I said, two different species, but I'm gonna skip docks. I'm gonna be skipping docks once that sun gets up at Jordan, and pitching a jig, but and keeping the grass honest. But in the morning times, especially if you can get some wind on some seawalls, spinner bait, jerk bait up there, a little square bill, something like that.
Gentry, as always, we appreciate it. We hope you and the family had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again soon. Well, that'll wrap up our Thanksgiving edition of the Bucks Island Area Fishing Report right here on November 30th. We hope you guys have a wonderful day. I don't know how we can express to you enough how thankful we are for our customers and our friends at Bucks Island. That's what you become. Every time you come to Bucks Island, you are a friend, and it's something that we appreciate. We are thankful for you. We appreciate you. We're here if you need us. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend, and we will talk to you again next week.